Well, good afternoon and welcome everybody. As is our usual custom, we begin with the pledge to the flag and the four-way test. Jim.
Would you join me, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance? And since my memory isn't that good, I have a cheat sheet. First. You guys are good. Second. That's great. Third. For everybody, yes. And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, have fun.
Okay, Judy, we have a thought for the day.
Hello, everybody. The inspirational moment today is just a quote that comes from this book called Just Mercy, and the author is Brian Stevenson. There's also a movie and 2 documentaries about this, but Brian Stevenson is an African-American lawyer, Harvard educated, who did an internship at the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery when he was in law school, and he never left. And they do work with people on death row and in really difficult situations. And this is just a wonderful book. The movie features Jamie Foxx and some other really cool people. But the quote that I got from this, which is attributed to him, but I've also heard has been attributed to Martin Luther King, and also that it came from the Bible. But wherever it came from, the quote is, "You are more than the worst thing you ever did."
Thank you, Judy. And I can personally testify that the book, Judy had recommended that book and I read it, and it's an extraordinary book. It's difficult material, but I recommend reading it. Okay, I'd like to welcome, I think we have a few visiting Rotarians here, such as, where's the great Pat Fahey? There he is. All right. And then Bob Wise and let's see, Kelly Kingsley from the Medford Club are over here. Oh, the other way around. Okay, and you're going to be our speakers too. And then I think we have some guests. Pat, would you like to do an introduction? All right. We're going to do, we have a very full agenda today, so we're going to do, change the order a little bit. We're going to do inductions of new members. I have to post the slate of candidates for next Rotary year. And then we'll do our program and we'll save the announcements to the end before we do Happy Bucks. So let's do some new member induction. I think, let's see, let's begin with Kelly. Would you like to introduce somebody for us? Where'd you go? Oh, I'm sorry. You want to come up?
Lisa Higgins. This is what's that? Yes. We know each other well. Lisa moved here from the West Coast in it says West. From the East Coast in 1972 from New York City. That's about as east as we get. She came to Oregon for college where she met her husband, Kevin. They have a son, a daughter, and 3 granddaughters who all live in the Portland area. She loves spending time with her family, especially those granddaughters. Yes, I can attest for that. They are Stella and Asa, and Akiva and Akiva. Lisa and Kevin arrived in Grants Pass in 1987 when the area was enduring a recession. The Rogue Valley Mall project was stalled. I remember. And 50% of Grants Pass storefronts were vacant. Isn't that? Yeah, it was dire. It was a hard time to move into the area, but a fondness for friendships and a passion for service led Lisa into various volunteer roles where she made friends and found her place in the community. Doesn't she sound like a Rotarian already? Now she cannot imagine living anywhere else, and I think Kevin feels the same. While volunteering for Master Gardener's Clinic, someone took notice of her dedication, and I might add a caveat there. Let's talk about what you got your undergraduate degree in. Botany. There we go. Need I say more? And she was offered a job as the program coordinator, which she gladly accepted. Lisa then returned to school in her 40s to get a teaching credential. Then she taught at Parkside Elementary for about 20 years. And she is currently serving on the Cultural Trust, Josephine County Cultural Trust Board, and will be joining Rotary. She's going to be a busy girl. Lisa has been a master gardener and continues to grow zinnias and many other beautiful flowers. I can attest to that in her garden. You ought to walk with her. She knows every flower, every tree, every plant. So she's like walking with an encyclopedia. Her love of flowers may have begun during weekly treks to study wildflowers on the top of the rock, Table Rock, while in college. The hike up to Lower Table Rock is an annual pilgrimage and has a special place for Lisa. She enjoys being outdoors, walking, hiking, and she knows all the good spots not far from Grants Pass. It sounds like Lisa could plan a Rotary hiking trip in the spring before the snakes come out, right? Lisa worked with me at Foundry Village. In fact, I got tasked with being the head of the landscaping team. This is funny because I have no knowledge of all of this. But so I immediately said, Lisa, you need to help me. It was such a good time. We did. During its construction, and then we enjoyed searching for plants. We did. And helping to install the landscaping. I have many stories about that. She cleaned the units. She even sewed drapes for the windows. She volunteers at Porch Fest. Thank you. And she's a member of our literacy group. Thank you. She and I both work at Highland Elementary. Finding herself amidst Rotarians as she volunteers all the time in our community, she finally got arm twisted into becoming a Rotarian. So there we go.
Sure. On behalf of all of us, I'd like to welcome her into our new club, our newest member. Congratulations.
I just want to thank you. I sort of joked with my husband. I almost feel like I drank some fancy Kool-Aid, but Jim was one of the many who kept saying, why aren't you joining our club? Because you're already so engaged in so many of the projects we do. And I have a heart for all of you who've said that to me, and I want to thank you. And I'm very excited to finally be official. Thank you.
Doug, you want to come up here?
Yes, and I get the pleasure of introducing Greg and Mary Millard. Would you come up here too, please? So these two people, I've become friends with them since June, and it is with tremendous pleasure I get to introduce them to the club as new members. Greg, I'm going to read this off. They sent me bios about themselves so that I wouldn't have to ad-lib this. Thank you for doing that. Greg was born in Des Moines, Iowa, but grew up in Sedona, Arizona, where one of his favorite pastimes was fishing at Oak Creek Canyon in Sedona, Arizona, a pastime now shared with his wife, Mary. He obtained a bachelor's of science in psychology. You got any questions about to be or not to be? It's either you or Lutz, right? Or you and Lutz can get together and argue, right? From Arizona State University, Greg attended the Graduate Theological Union at the University of California, Berkeley. In this faith-based academic setting, Greg observed an openness to the scholarship and rich history of Christianity in its considerable number of expressions. Greg completed a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and a Master of Divinity in one of the theological schools at GTU. He is a part-time teacher at Arizona Community College. He was employed for Sheriff Arpaio His employment for Sheriff Arpaio began in 1994 as the Director of Pastoral Activities in the Sheriff's Office Jails of Phoenix, Arizona. Greg ministered to inmates, especially those in crisis, including supervising and training the 400 volunteers and 10 staff ministering to the incarcerated. During one of the training seminars Greg conducted for the people wanting to volunteer in the jail programs, he met his soon-to-be wife, Mary. In April '97, Greg and Mary exchanged marriage vows, and Greg became an instant grandfather and stepfather. In January, I said that backwards, stepfather and grandfather. In January 2017, Greg and Mary retired from the sheriff's office and relocated full-time to their Grants Pass, Oregon home. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you.
Now, Mary. Mary was born in New York City, New York. Military life brought the family to Williams Air Force Base in Mesa, Arizona. She came to Phoenix, Arizona, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office Communications Division 911 Center in 2003 from her post as a staff chaplain of the Estrella and Tense jails in Arizona. Mary has received numerous local awards for academic excellence and leadership in Maricopa County. She earned a Bachelor's of Science in Business Management and a Master's of Theology. At age 15, Mary participated in a summer high school work program with the Sheriff's Office, and she was there in one way or another ever since. She retired in July of '07 from Maricopa County with 34 years and 10 months of service. Very impressive. Mary and Greg were married in '97. They love their 3 adult children, current ages 51, 45, 38, along with 6 grandchildren, 29 through 15, and 6 great-grandchildren. The blended family process is both rewarding and challenging. Following retirement, they enjoyed fishing, traveling with family, volunteering, and helping in the community. Through their volunteering at Evans House and other efforts assisting the homeless, they've discovered Rotary, and the rest of their Rotary story is yet to be told. Yeah, welcome. Thank you, and it really is a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Dad.
Having heard what was just read, do you know where we met? In jail.
The rest of it. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks. And really happy your memories of our time. We're going to spend a moment taking care of some very important business. Bayla, could you put it up there? We are posting the slate of candidates for next year, next Rotary year. We're supposed to do this in advance of posting the list of them. We'll put them in the Navigator for the next several weeks. And then we'll actually end up voting in December. And here they are, the slate of candidates. Judy Basker headed up a little nominating committee to get people to volunteer, perhaps, of course. Can you get it to the screen show? Should be that here. Actually, we can read it. All right, well, whatever. There we go. Okay, so 2024, which begins next year, July 1. So look for posting. The candidates will be coming up in the Navigator. And then, as I mentioned, we will be voting at the date, December the 14th. So in terms of the positions, can you go, there you go. Okay, Judy Basker will be president, assuming we elect her. Judy Basker, president, Valerie Lovelace, president-elect, Jenny Jackson, president, president nominee, I'm sorry, my mistake, and co-secretary. I will be immediate past president, Gina Marie. It seems like this presidency never goes away. Anyways, I'm immediate, she will be passed, and also function as the treasurer. And then Claudia Sullivan will function as the other co-secretary. So those are the officers, and then the remaining board members are Tommy Drake, Mike Bird, Lutz Kramer, Jim Lefebvre, Bev Walker, Josh Balak, Kelly Moody, Jan Jones, and Steve Rowe. And now the last thing, we can take nominations from the floor. So if there are any other nominations, we can accept them. Just for information, it's a board of 15 members as of now. It's a nice sized board. but we do take nominations. So I will accept them verbally from the floor, and then we will start posting them in the Navigator afterwards. Okay, I see no nominations. Okay, so that is it. That will be the slate of candidates. We'll be posting them as I noted, and then we will vote on them in December. So thank you. And Judy, thanks for putting this together. Appreciate it. Okay, let's get on. Appreciate your patience. Let's get on with the program. Are you going to introduce our speakers? Oh, Judy. Okay, go. Thank you.
Back again. Okay, so I'm really happy to introduce our speakers today, Bob Wise and Kingsley Kelly from KOBI in Medford. And for those of you who don't know or don't remember, I was born in Grants Pass. I graduated from high school at 18, and I was gone for 40 years. I came back in 2014 and took a job at Road Community College, and right away was out in the community, primarily in Jackson County. And so it happens that I met both Bob and Kingsley before I met everybody in this room, except Pat Fahey, because I think we were at St. Anne's together. I'm a year older, and we were both in trouble in kindergarten. But anyway, I also knew Debbie Brownell from high school band and Margaret Bradford, who was in the office next to me for 2 weeks before she retired. Anyway, when I first started, one of my colleagues said, you need to go meet Bob Wise. He's one of my very best friends. And I thought, well, that's cool. And I went to meet him and we got acquainted. And he's from Texas and I had lived 8 years in Houston. So we had some things in common. And I've since learned that at least 25 people will tell you Bob Wise is one of my very best friends. And that's because he's just the kind of guy that you want for your best friend, really a warm and engaging and fun person. And then Kingsley Kelly, who's here also, has a unique personality and presence. He just lights up the room. If you've ever with his fun, generous, engaging style and warmth. And he's been the MC at a lot of events I have attended, but that means that both of them are almost as charming as the person who works with them in our own club, Janie Duell. And just imagine what it would be like to go to work with these three fun people every day. It was one of my goals in life. Although the news is challenging, being with cool people is nice. So they all have great credentials, great personal and professional profiles, which I'm not going to repeat. They're positive, engaging members of our Southern Oregon community, and they're going to give us an update on what's happening. So come on up.
Well, I got to tell you, you're lucky to have Janie Duell right here in your backyard. But I have a gift. Now you have to raise your hand. You cannot yell this out. If you can tell me what, no. Team Kingsley, this ties into the no best friends thing, right there. What year did she start working at KOBI? You got to raise your hand. Don't yell it out. What year did Janie start at KOBI?
2011.
That is incorrect.
Oh, say close at least.
It is close. Somebody, that is correct, sir. Come on up. Come on up and get your get the part. Gotta get your exercise.
You know that I didn't raise my hand.
I hope you like Dateline because that's the stuff that's in there. So, you know, I have a feeling you may have a lot of questions involving a few things. At the end, we'll take as many questions as you want to ask or stick around. Like the writer's strike, how does that impact us? And it did dramatically. KTVL's news going away. It was hard for us to witness that. I can assure you that I'm happy to talk about that further. The future of broadcast TV, you know, luckily, the three of us work with a woman that is completely committed to providing unbiased local news as long as we're standing, and that's Patsy Smullen, who you may know. And we are very fortunate to have her ownership, and she and I are completely in line in trying to provide you the best news we can. We produce 5.5 hours of news every day. And trust me, that's a lot of content, and we're very proud of what we're putting together. By the way, how many of you are watching Channel 5 News? So the rest can leave. No, Channel 5 on your dial, Channel 1 in your heart. That's us. And please watch every night if you can, because we want your opinions if you watch, please. We have two meteorologists right now that are extraordinary. Bobby J in the morning is just incredible, and Matt Jordan is completely committed to being the greatest meteorologist you could have on air. So I hope you give them a chance. But first, we would like to show a brief video. It runs about an hour and a half, or 5-6 minutes maybe. But if you don't mind playing that, and then I'll come up and introduce my background.
Maintenance of free television is still vitally important to the American people. It's vitally important for the simple reason that communications with the people helps preserve our national institutions and including the freedom which we enjoy under the United States of America flag.
We also want to give a shout out to our friends at KOBI TV, NBC5 in Medford, Oregon. It is one of the few TV stations still family owned and operated. This month, they are celebrating 7 years on the air. So to Patsy Smullen and everyone at KOBI, happy birthday. 34 years and you're on the Smuckers.
Thank you, Al. Congratulations, KOBI TV and NBC5 on your 70th anniversary.
I mean, that is a dream come true.
Dreaming about it. For years.
That's up on everything.
Maintenance of free television is still vitally important to the American people. Vitally important for the simple reason that communications with the people helps preserve our national institutions and including the freedom which we enjoy under the United States of America flag.
We also want to give a shout out to our friends at KOBI TV, NBC5 in Medford, Oregon. It is one of the few TV stations still family owned and operated. This month, they are celebrating 70 years on the air. So to Patsy Smullen and everyone at KOB.
It's summer down there. Happened in about 3 years.
Maintenance of free television. Maintenance of free television is still vitally important to the American people. It's vitally important for the simple reason the communication with the people, help not serve our national institutions and including
Should we move on?
joy under the United States of America flag.
We also want to give a
We're
shout
really
out to our
proud of
friends
it
at
and glad you got a chance to see it.
KOBI NBC5 in
Kingsley,
Medford, Oregon.
I
It
know
is
you
one of the
have a
few
dog.
TV stations still
Clyde, you want to
family
say
owned
something?
and operated.
Not anymore.
And the reach of our news PM up 34% in
We'll do that. I'm gonna blame Steve Rowe for everything that just took place. I know, I see him up there. And look at it. He is loving every minute of it. I think I need Hope next to me, Steve. We'll love that way.
Not tonight. I'm down in Dallas.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll bring up Kingsley though, but let me tell you a little story about Kingsley. So Kingsley used to run KTBL TV and we competed against each other for 16 years. You know, when you know somebody is when you compete against them and you respect them as much as I respect this guy, other than his ability to bring a video and play on the computer. And he wonders why he has no friends. But Kingsley is the real deal. And when his station was bought by a company called Sinclair, which is a huge broadcast group around the country, and I tell people he got Sinclaired. It took him away from being the kind of local broadcaster he wanted to be. So when he announced he was retiring, I went into our owner and I said, we're getting this guy on our team. This is the kind of guy we need to be working with. And thank goodness we were able to do it. Rarely in your life do you get to work with somebody, at least at this point in my career. I know I look younger than I am. Thank you for saying so. But the last 3 years with this guy has just been amazing. He is our VP of digital strategies, but he does much more than that. He helps us lead a team every day through the obstacles that all of us face as business leaders. So I'm really honored to be able to introduce him and to welcome, and I hope you give him a big welcome to Kingsley Kelly.
Yeah, apparently I'll be looking for a job after this because I couldn't get the, no. Well, thanks for your patience. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know, you know, sometimes these things, sometimes it just works that way. You know, I should start by saying, as you may know, Bob and I are actually Rotarians at the Medford Road Club in Medford, where Judy used to be a member also. And I will tell you, growing up, my dad was in the Lions Club. And so I would go along, you know, on Lions things and stuff. And then when I got married to Diana, her dad was a Kiwanis. And so I would go to the pancake breakfast and help with the pancake breakfast on the 4th of July or whatever. And so when I got old enough to be, you know, starting a professional career, and I knew I wanted to join a service club, I thought the only option was Rotary, because I figured that would equally offend both of them. And it did. And in fact, not long after I joined Rotary, my father-in-law gave me this important advice. He says, you know, if you're going to speak to a Rotary club, speak slowly and don't use any big words. So I said, that's my kind of club. Perfect. But okay, so a quick question. How many, you know, OTT services, over-the-top services are like Amazon Prime and Hulu Plus and Peacock and Disney? How many people have an OTT service? Anybody? Yeah, that's a lot of hands. That's pretty good. Well, how many OTT services do you think the average household in the country has? And no, there's no prizes. I have this nice gavel, but there's no prizes. How many? What do you think the average is for a household? 5? Pretty good. 4. It's actually 4. But 82% of US TV households have at least one service. So it's kind of interesting. Here's another one. How much time does the average adult in the United States spend watching TV? Too much. No, incorrect. That's the wrong answer. Not enough. 4 hours. Anybody else? 5 hours. 5. I like that. Well, you guys are overachievers. The average is 3 hours, but I'll take 4 or 5 hours. That's a good answer too. All right, here's my last one. How many advertising messages does the average person see in a single day? And I'll give you a hint. Back in 1970, it was between 500 and 600. 10 million. 1 million. Anybody else? Pretty good. Yeah, it's between 6 and 10,000. That is how many advertising messages the average person sees now. And you got to remember, you see them everywhere, right? Well, obviously that's a challenge for local businesses, and especially a challenge for a locally owned media business like KOBI TV. So that's what I want to talk about a little bit, and how we're kind of trying to respond to that. You know, our goal is to serve viewers and communities in Southern Oregon and Northern California, and also to serve our advertising partners in that same area. So we're doing a number of things to try to make sure we can serve those people, not only on a TV screen, but also on these screens and other screens as well. You know, we stream our newscasts live on our website and through our NBC5 app. Anybody have the NBC News? Anybody? Oh, thank you. All right. Those of you who don't stay after class, we'll be happy to show you how to do that. We obviously post our local news and weather on social media sites. We have stories on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, our website, Instagram, you name it. And that's in addition to everything that we've always done on TV with our regular newscasts and all that information and entertainment we share there. But what's interesting in this era of so much digital information and data is we know a lot more about what's going on with what we share than we used to know. You know, and I got a couple of examples. When something big happens, we find out not only about what we think happened, but we actually can see what happened on those digital platforms. You know, this is a kind of a bittersweet example, the Alameda fire, obviously, terrible tragedy. But it was interesting because our coverage, where we had a camera on top of the manor that was kind of a front row seat of this, and we had a brilliant digital producer in our newsroom who paired that video from the camera with the 911 feed so you could hear what was going on with the emergency responders. We actually had on that week, we had over 1.7 million people view our website to see what was going on. Obviously not all people from the Rogue Valley, but from all around the world, but pretty remarkable. We had our Facebook posts during that time were seen by over 4 million people. Our videos were played over 3.5 million times. So a huge impact. We knew it was a big deal, but that kind of gave us a sense of really how big a deal it was. And we wouldn't have known that 20 years ago. Another example, and Bob referred to this, has been the recent closure of KTVL's news operations and frankly, the Mail Tribune, which was the newspaper in Medford for over 100 years. As soon as that happened, KTVL shutting down their newscasts, our own newscasts increased in ratings by 40 to 70%. So we had a lot more viewers that were looking for local news that weren't being served. Same thing happened to our website traffic and traffic to our social media accounts. Everything immediately boosted up, which was encouraging for us because that shows people care about local news and weather and information, and they value having a resource for that. So that's, again, a sad thing to see those organizations go, but good to see those people found another place to find that information. So that's a little bit about serving the people that in the communities and the viewers. We also have taken a lot of steps to try to better serve the folks that advertise with us, that we try to help with their marketing. And in the digital world, we have to constantly keep studying and learning about what's going on because it keeps changing, right? If you have kids or grandkids, as our new inductees had here today and stuff, those kids, who knows what they're on now? TikTok used to be the cool thing, but now it's probably something else. I don't even know, but I'm sure it's coming up soon. By the way, TikTok, over 1 billion users worldwide. I can't even imagine that. How many of you are TikTok users? There you go. I rest my case. You don't need TikTok. So the amazing thing, though, about this digital advertising is the opportunity to target. You can really be specific on who you want to reach with your advertising. Through digital platforms, and frankly, the information we share, so much is known about us, and it's kind of creepy, actually. You know, our political affiliation. Did we vote in the last election? How much money we make? How old our car is? When did we last have pizza? How many Rotary meetings did we go to? All of this stuff can be known. And frankly, that information can be used. It's anonymized, so people don't know specifically who it is. But that information can be used to market specifically to people that have certain interests or certain characteristics that would fit well with that advertising. I'm sure you guys have seen this sometimes, right? So whether it's a TV commercial on an OTT platform, a sponsored Facebook ad that you see, or a display ad on a website you're looking at, or maybe even an email, all of those are examples of this targeted digital strategy that can be very good because it can get information in front of the right people. It can also be irritating if it's not the right information. So that's the key for us, is to make sure that we're reaching the right people with the right information in those efforts. I have a couple of examples I thought I'd share just real quickly of things that we have done. We worked with a local public safety organization that was looking to fill a leadership position. And so we targeted, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't get it wrong. We targeted people who were first responders, had education beyond high school, so at least some college, and then had engaged in leadership activities. And we geo-targeted this message to just be served to people along Interstate 5 in Oregon, certain zip codes along that area. Well, in this campaign, the business had 100 people click on the ad, but 20 of them ended up being qualified applicants that applied. So they thought it was huge. They thought it was amazing. But it was interesting because who would know that you could know all those things about those people, right? So last month we worked with a festival and we targeted people who like to go to events, who are interested in food, wine, and beer. Who isn't, and who like live music. And we did that with a combination of OTT advertising and a targeted email campaign. And they actually had double-digit increase in attendance in spite of having crappy weather for the event. So they were pretty happy about that. And right now, and here's the last example I'll share, because this is kind of exciting. We're just working with an organization that got a grant to help with financial education. And so specifically, they want to reach low-income rural households that have financial challenges. And so this is all knowable through this data that's available out there. And they told us the story of a woman that had a job, but she was living out of her car because she had lost her home and she had debt problems. So she contacted this organization and they set her up on a debt payment plan. They've got her back in a rental place where she's living. It's a real success. So that's the story we're going to tell to these people that we target with this message, hopefully to show to them that they also can be out of the cycle that they're in and actually have a good life again. So that's a pretty inspiring. So I'm excited to see how that goes. And I'll report back to you later on that. So the one thing I'm not going to talk about is AI, because that's way too complicated. But at this point, instead of trying to show you the video, I hope you have a lot of really difficult questions for Bob Wise to answer, because he is the man. Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed the video, and Kingsley, and any questions at all about anything? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so the question was, I had mentioned that we targeted first responders as one of the attributes of the folks that we were trying to reach. And it's scary how much information we actually give up on your, partly it's through your affiliations. You may be a member of a union or an organization like that. Partly it's through information you willingly share, and it could be on a credit application. And partly it could be from surveys and questions that are answered about you. And the other way, and this is kind of interesting, because we carry these things with us pretty much always everywhere. If you go to a fire station every 4 times a week for 12 hours a day, they're going to figure you are a first responder. So that is part of the way that they get this information that is available to share. I want to emphasize, it's anonymized. No one knows who that person is. No one can directly message you and say, you know, hi, Judy, did you realize that when you backed into that car in the parking lot at Wild River, there was a camera? No one can do that. That's not available. But it is not yet. But it is kind of interesting how much they do know.
Age of those sportscasters, which I think is about 18.
14 actually. No, you know, recruiting is top priority for us. What's happened over the past several years, bigger broadcast companies that might be in Portland, Sacramento, San Diego, they're now hiring journalists right out of college. And so they're playing in our sandbox. We used to be that mentoring, get your master's degree here. There's still a lot of that going on, but it's harder and harder for us to hire journalists right out of college. Few reasons. One, it's incredibly difficult work. It's tough to be a journalist, a broadcast journalist. The deadlines, just the sheer amount of effort that is needed every day to be good at it. Two, the challenge of they're on screens all the time. So the allure of being on TV isn't what it once was, right? Because I mean, just look at the amount of choices you have when you go home. The ones that truly have a passion for it, like Christine Pitawanis, you may remember Christine did our morning news for years. She's now doing the morning news at KGW in Portland 5 days a week. You can see that separation sometimes of those ones that are just going to skyrocket. Fortunately, I don't know if you watch Meet the Press, but Kristen Welker, I hired her right out of college. She worked for me for 3 years in Redding, California. So those are the ones that unicorns that are just go through the roof. But to hire is incredibly difficult. To answer your question on how many people, we have about 62 people in our building right now. 55 of those work for me, work for the TV station, but we need more journalists. So if you know somebody that's taking journalism or graduated from U of O, or you have a relation with somebody that wants to work in media, have them contact us. Yes, sir.
The morning show on Apple TV and anticipate any kind of problems that you might have?
I don't understand it. No, my wife and I watched every episode. We watched the final episode of season 2 last night, I think it was.
Season 3, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So it is so bogus. It is hard to believe that people think that's how it is. See, I'm sorry, but that's just broadcasting doesn't work that way. And Jennifer Aniston's office, having been in Savannah Guthrie's office before, trust me, it's nothing like that at 30 Rock. But anyway, it's fun TV, but I don't know that I've really ever seen a TV show or a movie that really shows how it actually comes together. So what about you?
Yeah. Much more fun though, much more fun.
Yeah, yes.
That you want to share something about the news that
Yeah, I mean, it was disheartening. Let me tell you how we found out about this. You know, our station was very close to KTVL's. And I'm on a Zoom call in my office, and the owner of our station, Patsy, comes into my office. She can see I'm on a Zoom, and she's like, she wants to talk to me. And I turn and she goes, there's 2 people from KTVL that are crying in the lobby. And, oh, okay. So I kind of exit the Zoom and go out there. We ended up hiring these 2 people that were out there that just got let go. We ended up hiring 5 of their staff. Some of their staff got out altogether. It was very disheartening. We want journalists to succeed. As a matter of fact, when the Rogue Valley Times had their first issue, we bought a full-page ad in that just to welcome them. Journalism is important. It's critically important. Unbiased journalism that is delivered, if not daily, a lot each week is important to our survival. And we believe in it. And we hope that we're able to provide that unbiased journalism for years to come. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I watched your, report on the 5 o'clock news, and I wonder, other than giving that report, was she getting the information from the, National Weather Service? What else did you do during the day?
Well, it's a great question. Matt, it's funny because he populates our website with different, our same content packaged in a different way. But there's also so many microclimates in our coverage area. I mean, we cover 55,000 square miles, right? So he's got to be looking at from Lakeview to the coast, up to Roseburg, into Northern California. And he wants to make sure he's right. And I mean, he's a true meteorologist, so he is actually diving into that data quite a bit. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm not sure it does, but he's pretty busy. And in the morning, that morning gig, because we do the news for the Fox TV station, as you know, at 7 a.m. So Bobby J is 2.5 hours straight, and then populating the website and other things that he does to get content together. You had a question?
Yeah, I was just curious if the local TV and news and also the stations in general are having similar problems that like local newspapers are. I mean, it seems like you're generally in better shape. There's a lot more TV stations than newspapers. But are you seeing the same pressures?
The economic pressures.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Kingsley and I and Patsy have I'm sorry. The economic, well, Steve just guessed the question. The others are here with you. So what are the economic pressures in the TV station as opposed to newspaper or other media? The pressures are extraordinary. We have redefined our business paradigm several times, for sure. We try to streamline as best we can with not laying people off, which we have not done that. But it's a challenge, for sure. You have a lot of choices, and we're hoping you choose us or some of the other platforms that we use to get clients on the air. Advertising is a critical component of who we are, but also negotiating contracts with Charter, Direct, Dish, so they compensate for our signal to be an NBC, to have NBC on their locations. And we work hard on those negotiations to survive. Fortunately, with Patsy and her ownership, she's part of that team that's helping us navigate this space, and I think we're going to be fine. It's a lot different than, well, I tell people years ago, we must have been printing money and we didn't know it because we're working a lot harder now. Yes.
Say that you do unbiased journalism. How, when you bring all these new people in, you have journalists that go to the bigger markets, and you have to bring new ones in. How do you keep that from being biased? Because I basically stopped watching the news because of how biased the news media is.
Well, that's unfortunate. Number one, I hope you will give us a try. Our news director, the owner, general manager, VP of digital strategies, if we are biased, please call us and tell us how we're being biased. There's no station in the state in the 19 years I've been there that has hosted 4 gubernatorial debates and 5 U.S. Senate debates in our studio. I don't think we would be able to say that if we were doing something that was leaning one way or another, because both sides have to show up. And for the example of last year's gubernatorial race, a historic 3 women that did not like each other at all. I've never had this happen, but before that debate, I take each of them in separately to mic them up, and about 7 minutes, 5 minutes before the debate goes live worldwide on the web, and of course throughout the state, there was not a word spoken. And with the studio audience in there, everybody was nervous. Time has never moved slower than it did before we went live to Craig to start the debate. But I challenge you to give us a try. Now, there are, people associate us with MSNBC because we have NBC, we're NBC5. The only relationship is, that's a network relationship, but they don't dictate what we put on them. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. That was very interesting. And I neglected to introduce another guest Let's see, Kelly Glover, right? I'm sorry, I missed early on. Well, welcome to our club. Hey, I'm sorry, my mistake. Okay, let's do some announcements. Let's keep it rolling because we also want to get in Happy Bucks before the meeting is over. And just want to remind people that we are looking for a family to host an inbound student for the year 2024-25. So if you're interested, Rotary International inbound, outbound students, if you are interested in hosting a student, let me know.
Okay, so I hope you all got my P-mail this morning about Operation Joy. And we have a few cards here. If somebody wants to fill them out for Operation Joy, but you don't have any at home, these are some blanks. Please come and grab them and take them with you and fill those out. We'd appreciate that. New name badges. So some of you who are wearing your blue badges or your red badges, not all of us really love those badges. Sometimes they're hard to get on your shirt. They're kind of big and bulky. They don't hang right. So we are going to, for anybody who wants one, we are going to order some new name badges. These are made out of wood. They're very light. They have a nice big magnet on the back. And they cost $12 each. If you are interested in buying one, there's a sign-up sheet on the table back there. You can either make a check out for $12 or leave $12 cash, write your name, and I will get this ordered and delivered to you within a week or so. And if you have any questions on these, just come see me after. Thanks.
I want to invite everybody to our holiday party. You know, there's 5 Thursdays in November and there's 4 in December. But, you know, the Thursdays at the end of November get kind of busy. So we've decided to move the holiday party into the first, is that the first? Yeah, that's the first Thursday in December, I think. Anyway, at the Glass Forge, there's going to be a reception to take a look at the work that's being done on the mural outside so that everybody can meet the artists and talk about what they're displaying. And then also inside there's going to be finger food and demonstrations of glass blowing, and you can also sign up to blow your own ornament. And also you don't have to sign up to blow an ornament to just come and enjoy and watch. So this is the sign-up sheet and it's already been around, but if there's anybody who would want to go but didn't sign because you don't really want to blow your own ornament, let me know, and I'm going to bring it to every one of these meetings until December 7th. So you'll always have a chance to rethink.
Well, I want to put a shout out for the, we're helping the homeless by feeding them coffee. There she is. Leonora really started this off and it feels real good to help these people. Today we had somebody who was kind of ill in one of the tents, and we had doctor on site, Dr. Murphy, and he went down and I guess took care of the situation. But what I want to say to you is it feels real good to be doing that. But even if you don't want to come help us with that, we'd love your old dead clothes. If you want to bring them here, we'll take them to the park because these people are freezing. I was freezing. I'm still not warmed up, but you know, they don't have clothes like we can afford and buy. So if you have jackets or sweats or anything, that's what they were asking for today. Vests, those fuzzy vests, anything like that. Leonora is graciously buying socks and fingerless gloves for them. So thank you. Anyway, we'd love your old cast-offs or the things that haven't been used and that are at the back of the closet somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Jolene, are you ready? Happy Bucks.
Okay, I'm gonna make this quick because we're running out of time. You know me, I'm a foodie. I always have something of food, but today's food is boring. There's not much you can find out about Greek yogurt. Okay, so we ain't going there. I have a whole list of things here, but I'm not going to read them all. I'm going to read a couple things. And I think every woman in this place would love this one. And men, get your phones out, put the date on your calendar. It is the first Thursday in November is National Men Make Dinner Day. Okay, just to let you know. So, and if you have a birthday in November, you celebrate birthdays with author Jonathan Swift, who wrote Gulliver's Travel, Mark Twain, British statesman Sir Winston Churchill, American artist Georgia O'Keeffe, TV journalist Walter Cronkite, the first female prime minister of India, Indira Gandhi, Pulitzer Prize winning poet Anne Sexton, martial artist and film star Bruce Lee, and the celebrity chef and restaurateur Gordon Ramsay. So you're in good company. So we're gonna start. Let's do the card drawing. Has all the cards been bought? Okay, who's got the pack of cards?
One in the box up there by there. Yep.
Okay, have you guys shuffled these cards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mine are on top.
Pick a card.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it.
Gonna tell me what it is?
No, I'm not that good. Who has the 9 of clubs? No, the 9 of clubs. There you go. Okay, Happy Bucks. Okay, she's donating her half to Polio Plus. Good job.
So I have a happy buck and a sad buck. Happy buck, last weekend I had, or 2 weekends ago, I had a bunch of reunion of military guys I served with, and that was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it, and also got to see one of them getting a little healthier after some severe PTSD and everything, which is really nice. And then the sad buck is Tommy, generous, willing offer to donate land to build a housing project for veterans, but we were turned down. We lost the grant request, so we'll try again for something else, but at the moment, we weren't able to get a grant to build housing.
Hey, anybody else for Happy Bucks?
I get a happy buck for being here and seeing a lot of old friends. But you have a sad buck for the, terrible condition that Kingsley has no friends. So my apologies, Kingsley, and I hope you do better in next year.
No. Well, I am going to say Happy Bucks because I was very happy to see the levy passed, progress passed, and it was a unanimous 80% support. I will let all of you know on the sadder side that is not going to cover the cost of our public safety. So I just want to be really honest that we are going to have to make some difficult decisions to raise another $8 million to keep what we have right now for services, which is not what we would ideally like to have. So feel free to let me or any of the other counselors know. Some of the options we're looking at is a water fee, which many over 56 municipalities in the state of Oregon have a public safety fee or parks fee on their water bill, doing a 1% sales tax within the city of Grants Pass, or doing a restaurant and beverage tax. So those are the things that we're looking at, and we really do and are asking for input to let us know what would be your best option, because it will not be voted on. It will be yeah, it's tough, but at least, hey, it looks like the county tax is passing. That's amazing. Well, by 342 votes. So I have a sad $5 because I agree with Doug, who I think went to a meeting now, sorry, about the tiny houses for the veterans, and I really hope we can find some other place. John Jones, wherever he went, there he is gonna help maybe with some other property that might work well. So we're hoping to be able to, but it's really sad. Especially after being up there giving people coffee. It's just astounding the condition that they're in and still alive.
Any more happy bucks?
I have happy bucks for local news, local newspaper. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also for our new members today. I'm so happy.
Okay, anybody else? One of our newbies here. I'm sorry.
I do get to raise my hand now, right? Yeah, okay. Through the Evans House Project, I got to know many of you. And I got a firsthand experience of Rotary's exceptional teamwork from this very group sitting here. That was a draw to me and then to my husband. And I have 20 happy bucks. So grateful to be here. And I took this out of Greg's budget.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
This is my husband's 50th anniversary as Spit and Polish Antiques this month. So I have 10 happy bucks for that. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Looks like that's it.
I also want to thank the presenters for coming to that. It was really interesting. And the other thing about Happy Bucks, unless you don't see very well, the beauty around here these last several days in the fall has just been extraordinary. Wherever I drive, I look up and I see all these shades of orange and yellow and, peppered with green and red. And anyway, it makes me happy. So those are some Happy Bucks. And also, thanks again for the presentation. And I think kind of ironically, it really was about freedom of press, freedom of information. And today, on November 9th of 1986, anybody know what happened? 1986? It was the fall of the Berlin Wall. So I think that was an event that heralded the coming of freedom for a lot of Europe, a lot of different people. And with that, I have a quotation from Winston Churchill, who said that all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, and hope. And with that, thank you for coming.